Alright, look, before we even get started, just let me explain. I already know that you're there with your fingers on the keyboard, ready to be like, hey, Brandon, why didn't you pick my favorite game? Your opinion's bullshit. Alright, look, dude, just fucking hear me out, alright?
Look, I know I'm asking for trouble making a list like this because everyone has such different tastes when it comes to video games. But that's just it though. Everyone has different tastes. This medium has something in it to make everyone happy, which is why it seems like nobody can agree on anything when it comes to best games ever. Hence why I'm making sure to specify that these are my favorite games. I'm not saying that these are the best games in existence or the best games in a particular franchise, I'm just saying that these are the ones that I enjoyed the most. Right, so with that in mind, just a couple of ground rules here. First of all, obviously this will only be games that I've played. If your favorite ain't here, maybe I ain't played it yet. Second, only one game per franchise, but I will be counting some spin-off series as their own thing. Otherwise, it's pretty damn hard to pick just one Mario game. Dude has been in like 8 million fucking games. Shit, I thought Nick Cage was a workaholic. Coming in at the very ass end of this list is Tenchu 2. Back in the year of 20XX, Lil Bubba Dope somehow stumbled across this game. Seriously, I have no idea how I even got it. And it launched into a full-blown obsession into the Tenchu series. I'm sure that some of you haven't heard of Tenchu since I only know a handful of people who don't think I'm sneezing when I say Tenchu.
Bless you!
So let me give you the skinny. Tenchu is a stealth-based action game where you control either Rikimaru or Ayame, two badass ninjas. You gotta do sneaky badass ninja shit. And when you unlock Tatsumaru, dude, shit gets real as fuck. He doesn't even need a sword, he just beats the shit out of people. I first tried writing this list in 2012, and this game ranked much higher back then. So, what changed? Well, I went back and replayed it. Yeah, it hasn't aged that good. However, for the sake of nostalgia, and maybe an opportunity to introduce some new people in the franchise, I'll gladly put it as my 32nd favorite game ever.
Your old buddy Popey B's seen him a lot of best game ever lists, and I gotta be perfectly honest with you. Y'all need to give it up to the arcade classics more.
Yeah, I said it. We need to pay our respect to the real OGs. Donkey Kong, Galaga, Pac-Man, Pole Position. We wouldn't have your fancy schmancy FPS games if these dudes didn't pave the way. Some of you might have to struggle to think of an old classic arcade game to throw in your list, but it's an absolute no-brainer for me. Dig Dug was the shit. Yeah, there isn't much to it. You dig around and you kill these little round dudes and dragons by either smashing them with rocks or pumping them with so much air that they just kind of fucking explode. Yeah, dude, Mortal Kombat didn't invent brutality in video games. Dig Dug's was a stone cold killer. Yeah, there was no fancy plot, there was no epic soundtrack, no unlockable characters, but this game was fun. And isn't that what matters? Here's to you, Doug. You fucked them dragons up. The Dark Knight has fared a whole lot better than some of his other Cape compadres. If nothing else, the Arkham series of games is breathtaking. The combat's tight, the stories are pretty good, you get a butt ton of characters, they're pretty good. However, when I come to a fork in the road, I occasionally like to go the road less traveled by. When I heard that Telltale was going to make a Batman game, I think that my little Joker became hard enough to burst through Mr. Freeze's helmet. I get that Telltale games aren't everyone's bag, but I love them to death. They're like movies with gameplay segments, and I can get behind that if the story's good enough. And this story grabbed me by the balls and didn't let go until I did a tap dance routine to Sweet Home Alabama. It was weird. Without giving away too much, you're being attacked from all angles. Not only does Batman have a few villains to contend with, but Bruce Wayne's name is being dragged through the mud. Not only do you get to play as the Bat, but you also explore Bruce Wayne more than any other game has. Mix that with some killer detective segments and some of the hardest choices I've ever had to make in a video game, and you got a recipe for success. And them Bat brownies are tasty. It just sounds like I'm eating bat turds. Maybe I should cut that part out. Jak and Daxter was better than Jak 2 and Jak 3 combined. Yeah, I said it. Look, I get why some people like 2 and 3, and that's alright I guess. But can we just appreciate where it all started? Jak and Daxter was one of the most beautiful, immersive platformers I've ever played. This was the first time I ever got to just wander around a massive world, jumping and punching and collecting shit, not a load screen in sight. It was everything I ever wanted out of a game like this. Seriously, everything was just spot on. The character designs were interesting, the world was beautiful, the music just fit, and the gameplay was super tight. It felt good to explore this world, not only in the sense of scratching that innate human itch to explore, but also in the sense that the controls just felt good. You can do your Rudy Tooty point and shooty stuff, but I'm gonna go collect some eco clusters and see what trouble I can get into the old-fashioned way. One of my big passions outside of video games is film. Sure, TV is groovy, but movies find a way to capture my imagination in a way that I can't quite explain. So when I found out that there was a game where you could run a movie studio, I jumped on it as quick as I could. The Movies is easily my favorite tycoon-style game because it rolls up all my favorite things about those games and delivers them to you in a delicious burrito you got from a food truck. Building and managing a lot? Check. Hiring directors and actors and making sure everyone's happy? Check. Researching new technologies and techniques to make your movies even better? Check. Award ceremonies? Check. Fun soundtrack that changes with the times? You bet your ass! Double check! These days, the Tycoon game ain't as hot as it used to be, so there probably isn't ever gonna be a sequel to this game, but to whoever owns the rights to this game since Lionhead went under, please, at least give the game a Steam re-release sometime in the future. I'm tired of having to go to Pirate Bay whenever I want to dust off this old classic. Speaking of, I need to get this game for my newer computer. To Pirate Bay! Remember that thing I said earlier about spin-off games? Well, a huge reason I said that is because Pokemon's a thing. From fighting games, to puzzle games, to watching Pokemon TV, Pokemon has a lot of spin-offs and a lot of them have been pretty good. Maybe not all of them.
Hey you, Pikachu can suck a fuck!
But most of them. So, which one's my favorite? Well, as silly as it might be, I really liked Pokemon Snap. Yeah, look, I get it. There wasn't a whole hell of a lot to this game. You were in a set course and took pictures of Pokemon. Doesn't sound that exciting. And the game wasn't even that long. But I thought it was fun. Look, maybe if you hop in my time machine and travel back with me, I can explain why I thought this game was the tits. So it's the late 90s, right? And Pokemon is the Beedrills Meedrills right now. Naturally, it captured my imagination in a way that nothing really had before, and I wanted to know every little thing about these fuckers. Sure, you got to see how they fight and get along with their trainers and stuff through the main games and the cartoons and shit, but I wanted to actually see these little pricks in the wild. I wanted to watch a Pidgey fly in front of my face, or see a Zubat whiz past me in a cave. You gotta remember, kiddos, Pokemon Go wasn't around back then. This game was the first one to let you do that. This was the first game where you were actually side by side with the Pokemon, and it was genuinely fun photographing them. Sure, I might not understand what the fuck Professor Oak wants half the time. Most of the time. Just be happy with me, Dad! But it still felt good taking all the pictures. It still felt satisfying knocking Charmeleon into the fire, forcing his ass to become a Charizard, and taking a perfect picture while he tried to fucking murder you. Shit was dope. Sorry, I had to. If you're watching this video, you either love Five Nights at Freddy's or you hate it, or you thought it was okay. Personally, I loved these games. I loved the story, I thought the gameplay was fresh, at least when it first came out. I thought the community was cool, until it wasn't. And this game ate up a lot of my free time during the first year it came out. I had to put a Five Nights game in here, but I had a hard time picking one. Especially when you look at all the awesome fan games out there. I can eventually do a list of my favorite fan hacks ever, but the Five Nights community took this minimalist approach to horror and ran with it like you wouldn't fucking believe. From Flumpty to Candy to that fucked up Mickey Mouse dude, we got introduced to a bunch of cool, creepy characters from the Five Nights fan community. But, my favorite's a little more out there.
Inhale my dong enragement, child.
To this day, I'm not quite sure what it is about Five Nights at Fuckboys that I like so much, but this game is my shit. Sure, the humor is a lot of Tumblr shit, but I think it's funny. The combat can be described as frustrating at best, but I still enjoy grinding through. The layout of the game isn't anything to write home about, even compared to its two amazing sequels, but it still feels good to progress through. Look, this game will kick your ass and laugh in your face while you're still trying to figure out how the fuck you just died, but there are very few things more satisfying than beating this game. I beat it once, and only once, and I felt like a god. A sweaty, angry god playing a game about animatronics that like to say fuck a lot, but a god nonetheless.
Look, dudes, every now and again, just gotta sit back and relax, man. Gotta play a video game that, fucking helps you chill. I don't know, maybe relax. You live vicariously through someone else's life, be super successful and shit like that. I don't fucking know. Now, this next entry might not be my favorite chill out game. That honor goes to my number 6. But The Sims 3 is still one of my favorite mellow out games of all time.
If you're not a Sims fan, I get it, dude. I can see how the game is boring to a lot of people. You're not blowing shit up or killing a bunch of evil pirates or anything, you're just a dude living your life. But that's what I like about it. Real life is hard, so it's cool to be able to live in a digital world and becoming the king and or queen of Hypeville. So why Sims 3? Well, I had the complete edition of Sims 3 and holy shit, there is so much to do in this game! Look, in just the base game alone, you got a few towns, maybe 10 career paths you can go down, bunch of shit you can do, fucking build a house and stuff. But when you have the expansions? Dude, holy fuck. You want a pet? Get a pet. You want to go to Egypt? Fucking do it. You want to go to college, become best friends with a bunch of punks and start a band? My god, you go to college and follow your dreams, little Timmy. Yeah, sure, you're doing a lot of mundane shit, but there is a lot of mundane shit to do. What I really like to do is make a young, sexy bachelor and put him in a city. I always have dreams of working hard and becoming a phenomenal guitarist or a painter. Sure, I have to work part-time at the bookstore, but I'm working toward my dreams, and it's always super cool. Till the bookstore can't support me anymore and I have to give up on my dreams of playing guitar so I can get a business job so I can get enough money to go back to my dreams, but I never quite get there because I get stuck in a loop and before I know it, I'm in my 70s wondering what the fuck happened to my life and where I went wrong, and that's when I remember motherfucking cheat codes, bitches!